Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today's news has sent shockwaves across the region and beyond. Reports are emerging that an Israeli Defense Forces helicopter has been destroyed in Gaza. And according to many sources, this event has triggered panic and confusion within Israel's military circles. The story has been spreading rapidly across both mainstream media and social platforms. And everyone is asking the same question. What really happened, and what does this mean for the ongoing conflict? The first details that came out suggested that during an intense exchange near the Gaza border, an IDF helicopter was targeted by Palestinian resistance fighters using an advanced weapon system. Eyewitnesses described seeing the helicopter catching fire mid-air before crashing to the ground. While these reports are still being verified, the images circulating online show thick smoke rising from what appears to be wreckage deep inside Gaza territory. For Israel, an incident like this is not just about losing a military asset. It's about the symbolism of vulnerability. Israel's air power has always been considered one of its greatest strengths. Helicopters play a crucial role in transport, air support, reconnaissance, and rescue missions. For decades, they have operated with relative safety due to Israel's technological superiority. So, when a helicopter is destroyed in an active combat zone like Gaza, it raises serious questions about how this could happen. Was it a technical failure? Was it shot down by an advanced missile? Or was it the result of a tactical mistake during an operation? Reports from Gaza claim that resistance groups have recently obtained improved weapons capable of targeting low-flying aircraft. These could include shoulder-fired surface-to-air missiles or improvised systems designed to track and strike targets in motion. If true, this development represents a dangerous escalation. It suggests that militants are becoming more sophisticated in their operations, adapting quickly to Israel's patterns and finding ways to exploit weaknesses. From the Israeli perspective, losing a helicopter is more than a battlefield loss. It's a blow to their image of invincibility. The IDF prides itself on being one of the most advanced and prepared militaries in the world. Every time an aircraft is downed, it sends ripples through the ranks, raising doubts about safety, tactics, and the accuracy of intelligence assessments. As news of the incident spread, local media began reporting that the Israeli Air Force had gone on high alert. Emergency response teams were dispatched, and investigations were launched to determine the cause of the crash. Some reports indicate that Israel temporarily suspended low-altitude helicopter operations over Gaza until further review. The fact that such measures were taken shows how seriously this incident is being treated within the Israeli defense establishment. For the Palestinian side, this event has been hailed as a significant victory. Videos and statements began circulating online, celebrating what they described as proof that Israel's military dominance can be challenged. Whether or not every detail of those claims is accurate, the psychological effect cannot be ignored. In warfare, perception is often as powerful as reality. A single event can shift morale, inspire resistance, and create momentum. What makes this situation even more sensitive is that Israel is already under immense internal and external pressure. The ongoing conflict in Gaza has drawn international criticism. Humanitarian crises are deepening, and political divisions inside Israel are widening. In such an environment, a high-profile military loss can shake public confidence and intensify scrutiny of government decisions. At the same time, Israel's response to such incidents is often swift and forceful. Historically, when the IDF suffers casualties or equipment losses, it launches immediate retaliatory strikes to demonstrate strength. Analysts predict that a new wave of air raids or ground operations could follow as Israel seeks to reassert control and send a message that such attacks will not go unanswered. But beneath the military maneuvers, there's a deeper question. How sustainable is Israel's strategy in Gaza? The destruction of an IDF helicopter could symbolize the limits of even the most advanced military power when faced with asymmetric warfare. Gaza's fighters do not match Israel's technology or resources, but they rely on mobility, surprise, and local knowledge. When those factors combine with improved weapons, even a superpower can face unexpected setbacks. The pattern of warfare in Gaza has been evolving rapidly. In the past, clashes were defined mostly by rocket fire from Gaza and airstrikes from Israel. But recent months have seen a growing number of direct engagements on the ground, ambushes, and attempts to target armored vehicles and aircraft. Resistance groups have learned from past battles. They've studied Israeli tactics, and they are adapting in ways that make each new round of conflict more unpredictable. Israel's leadership now faces a difficult choice. They can escalate further, launching a broader offensive to crush any emerging threat, or they can attempt to de-escalate and reassess. The first path carries the risk of more casualties and greater international backlash. The second could be seen as a sign of weakness. Either way, the loss of the helicopter forces a re-evaluation of strategy, a reminder that even the strongest armies are not immune to surprise. Inside Israel, the political implications are just as significant. Every military failure fuels opposition criticism. Questions will be raised in the Knesset about how militants were able to acquire weapons capable of such a strike, and whether intelligence agencies missed warning signs. Public sentiment may harden, demanding a stronger military response, or it may shift toward questioning the endless cycle of conflict. In the wider Middle East, this incident will be closely watched. Regional powers like Iran, Hezbollah, and others observing from afar will analyze this as a signal of Israel's vulnerabilities. Every demonstration of weakness, no matter how isolated, can have ripple effects. It influences how adversaries plan, how allies react, and how deterrence is perceived. On social media, the footage of the alleged helicopter crash has already become viral, amplified by accounts from both sides of the conflict. For many outside observers, it represents the human cost of a war that seems to have no end. Each escalation draws condemnation from humanitarian organizations and increases pressure on international bodies to intervene diplomatically. But beyond politics and propaganda, we must remember that real people are involved. Pilots, crew members, families, they all bear the burden of such tragedies. Every destroyed aircraft means lives lost or forever changed. Every strike, retaliation, and counterstrike leaves scars that go far beyond the battlefield. In the chaos of war, truth is often the first casualty. Conflicting reports emerge, numbers are exaggerated or minimized, and narratives are built to serve different agendas. That's why it's essential to wait for verified information. Until Israel confirms the loss officially, parts of this story will remain unclear. Still, the magnitude of the reaction, from panic reports in Israeli media to celebrations in Gaza, shows how seriously this is being taken on both sides. As more details emerge, analysts will be focusing on three main aspects. First, the type of weapon used, whether it was a guided missile, an anti-aircraft system, or an improvised explosive device. Second, how militants managed to position themselves for a successful strike despite Israel's surveillance and air dominance. And third, what this means for future air operations over Gaza. If helicopters can be targeted, even rarely, that changes the entire risk assessment for pilots and commanders. In recent years, Israel has heavily relied on drones and advanced surveillance systems to minimize risks to pilots. But helicopters remain vital for transporting troops and conducting rescue missions in dense or contested zones. If those assets are now threatened, Israel may have to rethink how it conducts close support operations. The situation in Gaza is already one of the most volatile in the world. Each new event adds another layer to the tension. The downing of a helicopter, if confirmed, would mark one of the most serious incidents for the IDF in recent months. It would also signal that despite technological superiority, the nature of warfare continues to evolve in unpredictable ways. For Israel, the coming days will be about damage control, both militarily and politically. They'll seek to demonstrate that they remain in control, that this was an isolated event, and that the IDF's strength is undiminished. Expect statements emphasizing resilience, precision operations, and a renewed focus on neutralizing any threats responsible for the attack. For Palestinians, especially resistance groups, this incident will likely be framed as a symbol of defiance, proof that even a heavily armed power can be hit where it hurts. This narrative will inspire supporters and bolster morale across the region, and that in itself becomes another front in this long-running conflict. The battle for perception. As the world watches, global powers may step in with renewed calls for restraint. The United Nations, human rights groups, and diplomatic players will urge both sides to prevent escalation. But history tells us that every time such an event happens, the cycle of retaliation and counter-retaliation becomes harder to stop. At this point, the situation remains fluid. Reports are still being analyzed, and both sides are shaping their versions of the story. What's certain is that the destruction of an IDF helicopter, whether through enemy fire or mechanical failure, has become a defining moment in this phase of a conflict. It exposes how fragile even the strongest systems can be under constant pressure, and how every action has consequences far beyond the battlefield. As more footage, satellite images, and official reports emerge, we'll gain a clearer picture of what truly happened. But for now, this moment marks what many are calling a breaking point. Not just for Israel's military strategy, but for the psychological balance of the entire conflict. In war, perception shapes reality. A single loss can shift momentum, inspire one side, and unsettle the other. This event, regardless of its final verified details, will linger in the collective memory of both Israelis and Palestinians. It's another reminder that in a region filled with decades of tension, no force, no matter how powerful, is immune from the chaos of war. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for updates as this story continues to unfold. I want Descript to create an artificial version of my voice that I can use to create speech that sounds like me. I am training my voice by reading the following statement. Imagine a big blue ball spinning in space. That's our Earth. On it, there are tall mountains, deep oceans, and huge forests with animals. In cities, people talk, play, and work. We all have different voices. Some people speak softly, while others are loud. Every day, we tell stories, ask questions, and share jokes.